do they do it? Why do they do it? Riding and crashing and winning and always faster and faster and faster.
Welcome back everybody to MotoGP 2025 with Antone. And first of all, I want to thank everybody who watched last week, gave it a thumbs up and dropped some comments. There's some great discussion and I really enjoyed it. So thanks again for that. Today we're going to take a little bit of a different look at the season, and stand by for the second part of this episode because we're going to take a dive into Ducati, and we're going to ask the question, why are Ducati never happening? But first, let's start off with some news and some rumours in the MotoGP paddock. It looks like Luca Marini has signed with HRC Honda. Of course, Honda missed out on getting Jorge Martin. So it looks like Marini has got the gig until the end of next year for 26. But Mireia is also in the news, the young Moto2 rider. Apparently HRC are chasing him, and they have, according to rumours, made an offer of 4.5 million euro for 3 seasons. The first season, I would imagine, would be in the LCR team. And then maybe some sort of works involvement after that, depending on what the lineup will be. I mean, we all know HRC wanted to get Jorge Martin, and I still believe that they still want to get him for the 2027 season. So that would mean Chantra would be out. Chantra hasn't had a very successful season. The big thing, and this is what we talked about last week, HRC and the technicians and the team, they can't use his data because he's too slow. He's outside that parameter. So it looks likely that he will go. The other big news is the Manufacturers Alliance. They voted in Lynn Jarvis to head this up. So that's Ducati, Honda, Yamaha, KTM and Aprilia. Apparently they met with Dorna, Camelo. They're seeking something similar to what was famously called the Concord Agreement after the Formula One manufacturers and teams met in France in Concord, so it's called that. So met with the MSMA. I mean, our friend Rivola's heading that up now. So apparently there's some movement. We talked about Liberty, the big changes. We'll talk about Liberty a little bit more going forward. And the other rumour that's persisting and doesn't seem to want to go away is the World Superbike rumour with Jack Miller. It seems he has options. It might be a Honda option, it might be a Yamaha option, or it might be a Ducati option, depending on what happens in terms of that. And of course, all these World Superbike riders, and myself included, looking forward to the Suzuka 8 Hour that's coming up. It runs from the 1st of August to the 3rd of August. So during the mid-season break, we're going to dive into some topics a little bit deeper, and this week one is one I've been talking about for a little while, and it's Ducati. What has Ducati done? Well, the simple answer is they're winning everything, so what have they done? But what I want to talk about is I want to look behind Ducati MotoGP team, and I want to look at why they're constantly in the hunt for a champion. So first, a little bit of background about Ducati and MotoGP. They came in 2003, and they entered into that first year with some sort of moderate success. Sete Gibernau was riding the bike. And of course, Sete was famous with racing with Rossi. Now, they wanted to actually get one of the top riders. Marco Melandri was offered a ride to come in. They couldn't get him, but they settled on Casey Stoner. And the rest is history. 2008, Casey won the title, and he went on to do great things. He then got sick, if you remember. So behind his back, they tried to sign Jorge Lorenzo on a higher level of money. Well, this pissed off Stoner. Stoner decided he would move on, and he actually left Ducati. And of course, Ducati famously missed out on getting Lorenzo as well. And since then, they have been looking for someone who's just not good, but they want to sign champions, and they want to sign a lot of champions. The second that really is at the corner of why Ducati are where they are right now is their lack of faith. They're not a patient operation. Andrea Dovizioso, he delivered 3 second places. They finally gave him a lowball financial offer, and he was out. Let's look at Jorge Lorenzo. He rode with Ducati Just as he was starting to win in 18, they let him go. He went off and signed for HRC. But they're always in the market and they're always shopping. They try to get Rossi, they try to get Pedrosa, they try to get Vinales, Lorenzo we've talked about, Quartararo, and of course they tried to get Marc Marquez before they finally got him. Because why does Ducati do this? Because they have a culture that the bike is good enough to win. They don't rate the riding or the involvement of the rider that highly. They're a big believer that it's the bike that does the winning, not the rider. And because it's the bike, not the rider, that means that riders are replaceable. That means that it doesn't matter what loyalty they have. That means that they can change and look for someone new. Didier Delinea joined in 2013, of course, a revolution for Ducati. But since Stoner won on that 800cc bike, they've always thought we can get someone better. Now, what does this actually now mean? It means we've got the season of 2025. 23, 24, 25, Ducati won. But the Works Ducati team had a guy called Bagnaia, as we like to call him, Mr. Go Free. So what happened is Marc Marquez played the politically perfect card. The first thing he did is he jumped on a year-old bike, 2023 Gresini Ducati, and he proved to Digi that it was, and he was, spectacular. His data was like no one else's. So what that means is Bastianini was out of the Works ride. Jorge Martin, the current world champion, was out. And MM93, Marc Marquez, came in. The Ducati philosophy was, we want someone better. So they've got someone better, but what now do they have in the team? Bagnaia, look at his season. They haven't only crushed him from his performance, but they've crushed him mentally. And they've also set about finding a new pathway with Digi and Marc Marquez. And Delinea loves Marquez because he rides the bike to the absolute engineering best. And that's what Delinea is all about. So these two are forming a really close bond. Anyway, I wanted to put together some thoughts on Ducati. I wanted to see how they've gone and where they're going. And of course, what does that mean for next year? But listen, give us your thoughts. What do you think about Ducati? If you've enjoyed today, please give it a thumbs up and a comment down below. And of course, I'd love a subscription. Anyway, thanks for watching and I'll see you again soon.